When you think about the wealthy, do you ever question how they keep getting richer? You know, the common misconception is that if you are wealthy, you can afford to buy everything you want, whenever you want. However, the reality is quite the opposite. All wealthy people share one trait in particular. Despite possessing millions of money available in their bank accounts, they refrain from making superfluous purchases. In spite of their financial security, many of the world's affluent nevertheless choose to live modestly, shop frugally, and invest in things like education and healthcare, rather than indulge in material possessions. To boil it down, they are careful with their spending, even when they have the financial means to avoid doing so. I'll show you 5 things the wealthy always try to avoid spending money on in this video. Also, if this is your first time visiting the channel, be sure to click the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of the information that might potentially change your life. First and foremost, media like television and gaming. Television and electronic gaming are 2 areas in which you won't find wealthy people squandering their wealth. The typical American spends between 5 to 7 hours every day in front of the television. But specialists say that billionaires spend less than an hour doing the same. Most people living in mansions can't even fathom the cost of a jumbo TV package, preferring instead to spend their time on more worthwhile pursuits, like improving themselves through travel, learning new skills, or building successful enterprises. Multiple studies also found that the percentage of time spent watching television is directly related to a family's overall income. Richer homes, defined as those with a total wealth of more than $75,000, reported much lower TV exposures and, as a result, higher levels of life fulfillment. Poorer households, defined as those with a total wealth of less than $25,000, reported absurdly high quantities of TV hours. Consuming an excessive amount of media, such as television and video games, can not only drain your time, but also, and most crucially, your financial resources. And if you spend all of your time doing nothing but sitting on the couch and observing the success of others, you can hardly expect to improve your own financial situation. Following closely after at number 2 are overly expensive name brand products. Moving on to the next luxury, one that wealthy people typically avoid at all costs, is lavishing themselves in expensive products. And in this particular instance, I'm referring to extravagant dress standards and fashion fads that will leave the average person suffocating under a mountain of bad debt. Absolutely, we are going to require clothes, and to be more specific, decent clothes. However, does that imply that you should regularly spend a sizable portion of your income on high-priced name-brand clothing? Most likely not. The thing is, wealthy people aren't always wowed with the latest pair of designer sneakers, especially if they know they'll fade out from popularity in a few months. The wealthy are more cost-effective because they understand that quality will always outweigh quantity. Because of this, millionaire Bill Gates shows up at public occasions wearing a Casio watch that cost him only $10. And billionaire Michael Bloomberg has been wearing the very same pair of shoes for 10 years. The wealthy often have only the barest necessities in their homes. This is due to the belief that when one's financial situation improves, they become more aware of the fact that material possessions will never be able to compete with the more profound and life-altering adventures that may be acquired with money. You shouldn't have to go out and buy a new pair of shoes every week if you can get a good year out of one. In addition, why exert additional effort only to make a point if you've already spent so much time and effort earning money? Thirdly, settling outstanding debts. All wealthy people prioritize saving money by avoiding loan repayment charges, which includes all additional expenses related to owing somebody money. In point of fact, those who are already wealthy frequently make use of debt as a mechanism for expanding their fortune. Though this may be true, it ignores the fact that not all borrowers are created equal. While Robert Kiyosaki is able to live a comfortable life despite having millions of dollars worth of debt lying on his shoulders, the life of some other individual is being devastated by costly mortgage plans and education loans. Understand that the wealthy are aware that using other people's money to make investments is a risky endeavor that could quickly go south. As a result, quite a few of them would rather not take the chance at all. When it comes to financing large purchases, the ultra-wealthy typically don't go the traditional route of juggling several credit cards, auto loans, and mortgages unless the investment they're making has the capacity to outrun their interest rates. Debt repayment is a cost that can ruin your personal finances and get in the way of your path to financial independence if you don't have a solid backup plan. Simply said, getting into bad debt is as simple as getting into problems, but getting out of it is extremely challenging. Warren Buffett summed up the situation well when discussing debt and paying it off. According to him, you can get rich without taking out any loans if you just work wisely. 4. The fast food industry. The wealthy also tend to avoid the extra expense of binge eating at fast food restaurants on a regular basis. In contrast to the average individual who eats out virtually every night, the wealthy tend to choose more cost-effective meal options. You might assume that a millionaire entering a popular restaurant would buy meals for the entire table or even to occupy the entire restaurant. Buying groceries may be a better choice for certain people than going to a restaurant and ordering prepared meals. Additionally, wealthy individuals like healthier lifestyles, so it's best to avoid eating unhealthy food as it drains your wallet. 5. Lavish spending on things like fast automobiles and air travel. You may have previously thought that all wealthy individuals only travel in business or first class and drive the most extravagant vehicles. However, the truth is, they typically don't. Rich folks have been spotted on multiple occasions driving vehicles that are so commonplace that both you and I could probably buy them without much difficulty. Choosing to fly economy instead of paying extra money is even more perplexing. Mark Zuckerberg mentioned that the standard Acura TSX, which costs just around $30,000, is reliable, comfy, and inconspicuous when asked why he preferred to drive one. I believe that this is the most rational and true justification for owning a car. The majority of individuals frequently don't consider the long-term costs of car ownership and instead just see the immediate benefits. Having a luxurious car requires you to spend a lot of money on maintenance, causing extra stress, and puts you under social pressure to buy expensive extras that you don't need. Because of these factors, it doesn't make sense to spend more than 10% of one's earnings and assets on a vehicle that will quickly lose value. You shouldn't be astonished if you see a multi-millionaire cruising around in a modest or even vintage automobile, as they are unlikely to conform to the norms of our culture. According to the findings of a study, you are most likely to discover 60% of the world's billionaires driving models manufactured by Ford, Toyota, or Honda. Thanks for watching. If you've made it this far, I appreciate it. Click the subscribe button down below if you wish to transition from the life you have right now to the life you truly desire.